going on, you guys? It is your boy, the American F1 fan, Eric Wingo here, and I've got something a little bit new today as I have gone on to Reddit. And I have gotten into a Formula One community, and I posed a just very, very simple question for everybody. And I wanted to hear everybody's most controversial, unpopular opinions that they may hold that, you know, they believe in, but maybe others don't, but it's very unpopular. So I've gone on here, I've posted it, and got some incredible responses. And you guys can now join. I have created a Reddit community. It is the American F1 fan on Reddit. So you guys can go there, and I will put a link down in the description for you guys to join. But I will be posting more memes, more videos, just be posting all sorts of stuff. And you guys can contribute too. You guys can post your memes. On race weekends, guys can post your memes there as well. And maybe we'll run through my subreddit from time to time. But guys, let's get on into some of these controversial opinions. All right, so the very first opinion we have here is from a PTRD-41, and this was posted yesterday. His most controversial opinion is the Constructors' Championship is way more interesting than the drivers' competition. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of tend to agree with this. I mean, you tend to get a little bit better fights, and usually the Constructors' Championship comes down to the last few races. Unfortunately, it's only got usually about 2 teams involved, and then you've got the rest of the field, and they're all fighting for positions, and so I guess I can really see where, this is actually a little bit more interesting to watch. I mean, if you watch NASCAR and IndyCar, they do constructors there as well. They do, the standings between Honda and Chevy and Toyota and the NASCAR, Ford, Dodge, Toyota in NASCAR, and then you've got Chevy, Honda, and others in IndyCar. So, I mean, I can kind of see how this becomes a little bit more interesting. So the very next one on this list is George Russell from an Electronic Dog 524. His opinion is George Russell isn't as good as people make him out to be. I totally could not disagree with this any more than I could possibly already disagree with it. I think George Russell has shown that, especially in the Williams, he was able to drag a car that was literally one of the bottom feeders of Formula One in a Williams team. He was able to drag that car into some points every once in a while. And then his one chance he got in Mercedes 2 years ago, he did amazing. And had it not been for the lack of stupid, mechanics and stupid pit stops, he would have possibly won the Secure Grand Prix 2 years ago. And, we may have seen George Russell in a Mercedes a lot sooner. So I think George Russell is every bit as good as he's, been put out there to be. And I gotta say, this opinion, I just do not get and couldn't disagree more. So the very next one that comes up on the list is Michael Schumacher. This is from an Alpha Sud 10. And his opinion is Michael Schumacher could have been a 9-time champion if it weren't for the tire rules. Now, what he means by this is back when Michael Schumacher was racing, there were several years where basically you had to go an entire race without changing your tires. And I would tend to agree with this one. I think if you had the same tire rules in place now, or even, 10 years ago, if you'd had those in place, I think Michael Schumacher actually does relatively much better as a driver. And I gotta say, I would totally agree with this. I think Michael Schumacher was that great of a Formula One driver. I mean, yes, he was controversial at times, maybe, overstepped some lines at times, maybe bent the rules in his favor. But in the grand scheme of things, Michael Schumacher is one of the best. And it's always going to be one of those what ifs. Like, what if we were to put him in this, time period, or, what if rules were, this way or whatever. And so I get this. I could see it, though. I could definitely see that Michael Schumacher could have won 9 championships had, the tire rules been a lot different in Formula One back when he was a driver. Now, the next one I have here is from Y'all's Crazy. His is without paid drivers. It's conceivable that F1 wouldn't be around anymore, and it's certainly that there'd be less teams today. And wrong? Like, really? Do you honestly think that paid drivers have kept Formula One going? Like, that's totally ridiculous. I can guarantee you right now, if you were to go through Formula One, just even, for this season, take out all the paid drivers and you put in the best 20 drivers, within, Formula One, or, throughout the formulas over in Europe. I feel like you've got easily 20, if not more, that you could have more than a 20 car field. And I get it that paid drivers are kind of a thing that, is just going to be around Formula One. That's just always the way it's going to be. But like, it doesn't, make or break Formula One. It doesn't make or break teams. I think if anything, with them putting the cost cap in place this year, I think if anything, that's helped Formula One in the long run become even better. And I honestly think had they put that in place sooner, I truly think that we'd still see a lot of teams, and you'd be seeing a lot of teams, trying to fight to stay in Formula One or to get into Formula One. Whereas now, you're putting out a 10-team field, but like, you're now trying to like keep Andretti out of Formula One and all this other stuff. Like, I truly think had you put the cost cap in place a lot sooner, I think you'd have a lot more teams. But I think you would have had at least 20, if not more, drivers that weren't pay to drive that would have been able to field every team, especially in this season. So the very next one, and oh my God, this one made my head hurt. This is from Crafty Substance 954. He says, even the most average modern F1 driver would be better than the legends of the past. Wow. So you're going to tell me that a Lance Stroll is better than an Ayrton Senna, an Alain Prost? Like, no. There's no way. And I hate that we try to compare drivers of the past to the drivers of now. Like, Formula One machinery has changed so much over the years that, like, I don't see how you could sit here and try to compare those of the past to those of the future. Like, compare those to those of of their time. Like, the fact that you would I feel like that's a much better comparison than trying to compare, Michael Schumacher to Lewis Hamilton. Like, the eras are totally different. The cars were totally different. I just don't get it. Like, Lewis Hamilton is a legend, in this era of Formula One, whereas Michael Schumacher was a legend of his era in Formula One. Like, let's stop the comparing of guys from different eras. Like, let's enjoy Formula One for what it is, but like, let's just compare those that are in that same era, and let's make it a little bit more of a valid comparison than comparing different eras. So the very next one I've got here is from Mysterious Remote 230. Vettel doesn't deserve his 4 titles, only 2 of them max. And as controversial as that may be, I totally see that. I mean, think about it. Vettel had was fighting against some teammates that were really, really good. I mean, you had the infamous multi-21 with Mark Webber. You had a Red Bull team that obviously favored Sebastian Vettel over his teammates like Mark Webber and Daniel Ricciardo. It was always these, we're going to put him above and beyond everybody else instead of letting teammates fight and whoever the best driver is win, like give him equal machinery, and even one of the comments here, I'm going to open up one of the comments. It says, I'm inclined, so this is from Radiant Star 44. It says, I'm inclined to disagree because I prefer Vettel to Alonso, but you have a good point. If Grosjean doesn't do his infamous smash in Spa back in 2012 and Alonso didn't get stuck behind Petrov in 2010, Alonso would be a 4-time world champion, not Seb. I'd argue both are equally as talented and both would deserve 4 titles, but Seb had the better car in 2012 and 2010. I agree, but again, in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think his team, Red Bull, ever, Mark Webber showed talent. Daniel Ricciardo showed talent. And what ended up happening? They pushed them both out of Red Bull because they favored Sebastian Vettel instead of letting the team, letting both drivers race and, seeing where the points kind of fall, just like Mercedes did with Rosberg and Hamilton. It could have very easily in 2016 that Nico Rosberg be told to always sit behind Lewis Hamilton, don't ever get ahead of him, and we wouldn't be talking about 2016 and Nico Rosberg beating Lewis Hamilton. So, I can kind of see this one. I would agree. And finally, I'm gonna end with this one because oh my God, I read this and it made me want to vomit. It just, from local platform 9415, Stroll is better than at least 5 other current drivers, and he lists his 5. He says Lance Stroll is better than Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, Guan Yu Zhou, Alexander Albon, and Yuki Tsunoda. Mick, I'm still not totally sold that Stroll is better than him. I can probably see maybe his arguments to it. Nicholas Latifi, okay, yes, I will give you that one. That's one. That is one driver. Guan Yu Zhou, I wouldn't say he's better than. I think Guan Yu Zhou, if anything, has literally fallen prey to, just bad machinery. That's nothing on Guan Yu Zhou. That is literally Alfa Romeo putting together, a crap car. And I just, I think Guan Yu Zhou has shown at times this season that he is way better than Lance Stroll. Alexander Albon, you have got to be kidding me. Would you have put Lance Stroll in a Red Bull car over Alexander Albon? Yes, Albon ended up failing out and falling out of Red Bull. But Lance Stroll would not have done any better with that same machinery. That is totally ridiculous that you would think that Albon is way worse than Lance Stroll. And Yuki Tsunoda, this one's kind of on the fence for me. I can probably see some of the arguments towards this, but I think Yuki Tsunoda has also shown that he's got a lot of speed to his vehicle, to his car. He's got a lot of great talent. I think just sometimes he lets his head get the best of him. But I could see both sides of that. So maybe 2 drivers here, but 5, at least 5. I want to know who else he thinks could potentially be worse than Lance Stroll. Like, if that's 5 right there, and he says that's at least, oh my God, like that. Oh man, sir, you need to stay off of Reddit when you've been drinking during the day. Like that's, stop drinking and Redditing at the same time, boys and girls. But guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know your controversial Formula One opinion. And maybe I will make another video. If you guys list enough controversial, unpopular opinions about Formula One, list them in the comment section down below. Maybe I'll do another one of these, and I will pull them from this comment section. But guys, also you can join my Reddit community. It is the American F1 Fan on Reddit. Join there. We're going to start posting memes. I'm going to start posting my videos as they come out there. You guys can, interact with me. I'll ask you guys for video ideas, all sorts of great stuff. So you got to go there to the community. But guys, slap a like on this video as well for more daily and weekly Formula One content. Guys, if you haven't already, you must subscribe if you are new to my channel for more daily and weekly Formula One content. We're, 3 weeks away from getting out of this summer break and back to Formula One racing. But guys, I'm ready for racing to come back. It's only been a week, but I'm so ready for it to come back. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And guys, for the American F1 Fan, I'm Eric Ringel, signing off.